And a one fish, two fish. And a one fish, two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. And a red fish, blue fish. I think we're good to go. And a red fish, blue fish. I think we're good to go. At least I am over on Twitch. We'll double check YouTube real quick here. Live streaming. Hey, I'm live. Here. Live streaming. There we go. We're good. Hey, I'm live. Here. Live streaming. Happy Turkey Neck Soup Day. Yeah, I'm not having any either. We are working on dad stuff today. I am getting closer and closer actually submitting the wrestling outfit. Yo, Cliff Stalling in the house, baby. How you doing, Cliff? Actually, do I have a Cliff command still? Yo, the Cliff command still works. Excellent. Lurking while game. Happy gaming. Um, there we go. Bots are doing all the body stuff. Oh man. So the wrestling outfit pretty much done. I'm just rendering. I got to do a couple more promos and then submit it. I'm in the middle of submitting it. I'm finishing up the promo stuff. Should get that done today. Fingers crossed. So we're working on the safari outfit today. Let's go over and take a look at Savannah. We're calling it Savannah. Currently we've got the boots. Here, let's actually put this on a figure. Did I even double click that? I didn't even double click that. Let's load in a Genesis Age here. And let's set this up with what we've got so far. I believe currently we've got the boots, we got the socks, we got the outfit, which we will break apart later on. I have finished modeling the pith helmet, so we got to texture that. We may do that today. And I finished modeling the compass. So we're going to rig the compass. We're going to do the compass. There we go. All right, let's put the boots on. Let's put the socks. Excellent. Put the socks on. There's the boot pose. I haven't saved the boot pose yet. That's how the feet pose with the boots. We have the outfit on here. We were working on getting the textures saved last time. So we can take a quick look at how we are with that. Yo, Charles, how are you doing today? Dum dum dum. Oh yeah. I still have to texture the boots. We got the socks and the socks and this stuff textured. We're gonna throw the textures on that right now. Just to kind of see where we at. Alright, where am I, by the way? I'm just gonna have to navigate to it. In projects. I stuck this in my Pope folder. And you can't see where we're heading because we're over here. There's the Savannah folder. That's the live one. Someday I might do an aviator outfit. I've kind of got a placeholder for that. Pulp Hero is out. Safari outfit is out. Starheart is out. Runtime, textures, me, Savannah, outfit. Okay, we'll do this. There's the displacement map. And I might actually save this time. And actually what I need to do is set this up so it saves, so the map file will apply to the shorts, the shirt, and the socks. Right now it won't do that, but we'll do that later. Probably not on a stream. There we go. There's our displacement map. We set that displacement level to 6. Someday I'm actually going to change my base shader to remember that. There is a height map that we can put there in the bump map channel. There is our normal map, which, yep, normal channel. I'm going to still I'm going to add more wrinkles to the normal map and the bump map. Well, I'm going to do that in Substance. Probably not on stream. Um, we've got opacity, and I can't remember. I think it's just on the zipper, on the pants. I'm just going to drop that on for now. I'll clean it up later. So put the opacity map in there. And then we have this base tan color, so I'll just use the base tan color for now. The hero set will probably have a brown belt with the white socks. And there's our metallicity. So let's get that. Oh, I can't roll that up. Oh, it's because it's right there. We'll drop that right there. We'll try that again. I'll drop you right there. You did not stay. It looked like it stayed. It looks like it's there. It still stayed. Okay. Oh, and my glossy roughness. There's our glossy roughness. I have not saved any of these out yet. I just have saved the one. That goes there. Okay, we still haven't done that, and that didn't stay. That did not stay again. What the frick? I have not quite figured out what the deal is with Daz and dragging and dropping stuff in there. Anyhow, that's what we've kind of got done so far. So today we're going to rig the compass and save it. The compass actually will move, and we're going to put it on the belt. We'll attach it to the belt with a rigid follow node right about there. Oh yeah, I do have a belt buckle. So we lined up the belt buckle last time, and we've got our holes in our belt. Anywho, so we're going to go to Blender, where I finished just earlier today modeling out our compass. This is how the compass is looking so far. The lid is going to open up, and then there's going to be a needle that can be rotated inside. And currently I have assigned these vertex groups. And it's the vertex groups that we're going to use for rigging. So the top has got this thing called compass cover. The bottom's got a base, and then the needle itself has its own. So we're going to save all of that stuff out with its groups. Then we're going to bring it in. Actually, we're going to open up. Well, here, we'll do this. Export. Activate export. F6 is my export button. I'm getting a call from a number I don't understand. Which means we're just going to ignore that. Does that say Savannah? That's a Savannah. Oh no, I missed a call from an unknown number. We're going to call you Savannah Compass. There we go. Save. Oh, actually, come over here. Do that so it only saves the DAS presets. Also, the hat's in here. We'll save the hat. This stuff is good. I have a Safari hat in here somewhere. Oh, I think I might have hidden it. Is that the pith helmet? Control F. There's how the pith helmet's looking so far. I've done, look at these little details. We have the detailed strap with this slider and rings and all. So this is all ready to go out. So we'll export that too, since I think currently I have it set at Genesis 8 height, but we're going to actually pose it a little bit, and then we'll use the same hat on Genesis 9. It's a prop. It just props to the head, so you don't have to do anything to it. I'll probably add a few adjustment morphs to it, but beyond that, I mean, it's a freaking pith helmet. It doesn't have to do a whole lot. F6, Savannah, pith, as I like saying pith. Pith helmet, there we go. All right, we'll set up the pith helmet first, because that's the easy part. File import. We will eventually, hopefully we can get to texturing that today as well with the compass. That's kind of the plan. And I still have to do the canteen. I don't know if we touch the canteen today or not. With my amazing speed while streaming, probably not. There's my import button. Let's import stuff. I'm in Savannah. Let's sort by date or pith helmet strap. That's not what I want. I want pith helmet. There we go. It has little vents. We're gonna texture those in. Maybe I should model. No, I'm gonna texture them. Anyhow, that's how it. But what we really want this to do is we want it to kind of line up like that. And you know what? This actually. So it's a little small, but we can make some tweaks to it. It just fits. But for right now, we're just going to save it as a figure prop asset like this. Um, and then we'll pose and save later. All right. Let's just double check my material names. All are looking good. Let's put my generic shader on it for the heck of it. That's going way too slow. Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. Generic shader has been activated. All right. Save. It's a figure prop asset. Where are we? I'm in my test folder for the wrestling. Let's go down to where we're saving the stuff for the Safari Girl outfit. People, I'm going to just. This is a file that we're not going to save. Later on, we're going to save a version as a wearable that will be posed and fitted to Genesis 8 and Genesis 9. But for right now, likewise, I have this buckle file that will go away eventually too. But I just need that for a save right now. And I get to say Pith Helmet again. Yay! Savannah Pith Helmet. Alrighty. Um, Actually, I want to double check some stuff before I do that. Let's go to edit. I'm in the wrong. I'm in the wrong tab. I need to do this in the scene tab. Edit scene identifier. What do you say? You are good to go. I can't set the content type here. I might as well do that since we're here. So you're going to be an accessory to the head. And now we're going to redo this. And I'm going to just click on that. Say Pith Helmet again. Do I have the option for Savannah? I do. That is good. This is fine. And then I'm just going to accept that. All right, that's saved away for later. Compass takes a little more work because it's actually going to be a figure that you can open and spin the needle. So that's going to come in right down in here. Where do I want the center of that? You know, it doesn't make any difference. Daz is going to put the center wherever it wants it. So I've saved the compass. Or actually, to do this, we have to rig. So window, panes, figure setup tool. There we go. We're going to use the figure setup tool to make a posable figure out of this. So we're just going to come here and add a geometry. And we are looking for our Savannah compass right there. So this should be able to identify the groups. All of that's good. All right, then I take this, drag it over here. And now you can see there's my 3 parts. Kind of. That one didn't look like a needle. Why do you say off? I'm going to do this again. Let's double check what's going on here. So I have my compass base, I have selection, and I have my compass needle. I don't know why that came out as OFF. Let's double check what we've got here. All right, let's go to the vertex group for that. It says compass cover. Compass needle, compass base, compass cover. It all looks good. 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll export that. I'm only going to do this. If it's screwed up, I'm just going to fix it manually next time. That is looking at the wrong folder. That is the right folder. I'm going to overwrite that right there. I hope I did that right. Did I do that right? I think I did. Oh, you know what? I got vertex groups checked. Got materials checked. So let's come back in here. Let me just, can I just delete this? Remove geometry. Can I just delete all of these? Do I have to do these one at a time? Remove bones. Oh, I could probably select multiples. All right, let's try this again. Add geometry. I can always manually just rename it, but it should come in with this name that I saved it with. Looks good. Can I change you? I guess not. I can probably rename that at some point. All right. We're just going to parent. Can I rename you here? Can I just double click? There we go. Did that not get changed? There we go. Oh, these things. I always forget the directions we want to do these in. I'm going to figure it out when we put these bones in. We're going to reorient these probably. These are the rotation orders. Like a leg is probably like ZYX or something like that. Or ZYX, yeah. But anyhow, I want to parent that to this. I also want to parent the needle to the base. So that's my hierarchy. The base is the bottom with the cover, which will flip open on a hinge, and then the needle will spin around on the inside. And we should be good to go with that, I think. And there should be a create button over here. And there we go. We have created. And now we just have to kind of rig it. Because right now it's got bones, but they don't do anything. And I'm going to set the... So our center is going to be right about here. I'm going to put it right there as if it's on the clip so that it rotates and moves on that. Okay, it gave me this weird little number here. We're going to get rid of that. Which means also it's probably in the scene identifier or something. We'll double check. Yep, there it is in the scene identifier. I think that's like a poly count. I think that's where that comes from. Now we gotta rig it. I have to, there's a convert to, so this tool is really old, the figure setup tool, so I have to set this to be something else. If I can remember how to do that, create. Or is it over in here? Edit. Create. Nope, 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 nope. I have to remember how to do this. It's been a little while. Edit rigging. There we go. Edit rigging. Convert figure to weight map. We're going to do that. There we go. Figure with paramedics must be selected for this action. Okay. I thought that's what I had. So do I have regular weight maps? Try X2. Maybe it's try X2. Edit rigging. Convert Triax to general weights. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Triax is an old weight map system. General weight maps is what Daz has been using for quite a while now. Parametric is what Poser used way back in the day. So now we just have to align our bones up. So go to the figure. I can remember how to do this. So I'm going to want this right about, and I'm going to hide this figure. It's in the way now. And we'll go look at the left or right camera. And I want my center point to be right there. And I'm just going to put this. No, actually, this is where the next... you're probably okay. There's a needle in here somewhere. There's my needle right there. I probably should have moved that up. We'll probably update the base geometry a little bit, move that needle up. It's probably fine. What am I saying? Anyhow, I'm going to do that right there. Not that it makes a difference. The cover. So the joint, the center of rotation for the cover is over here. And the cover only really needs one. And I'm just going to put this out over here. We want you lined up right about in there. We can zoom in on that and get that closer. I went too far. Can I move you over without? There we go. I got these little lines here that can act as kind of guides to get those crosshairs lined up. So the hinge is the center rotation for the cover. It'll flip up and down. Okay, and the needle, I think the needle's actually in a good spot. It seems to be right there at the center, and we only want it to twirl around. So we're good so far. Now I have to assign weight maps to this stuff, I think, if I remember correctly. So we'll go to the weight tool, come over the compass base, go to tool settings. I've got too much stuff in here. We're just going to do that. Hey, it's all set. What about this? It does not have, so I have to assign. Actually, let me make sure. Compass cover. Why do you still say off? You're fine. Okay, you're good. You might actually be okay. Let's do something. Let's come over here to parameters and... So, oh, that's pointing the wrong way. I can see it now. We'll fix that. Let's go to perspective view. Oh, and you're off on the side. See, I want you in the center. Like that. I want this bone to face that way. And that's based off that order of rotation. So X, Y, Z is that. So I think I want Z, Y, X. There we go. Perfect. And then for the needle, there's a teeny little bone in there somewhere. And I think I want that to be Y, YZX. There we go. Let's tweak those. This is in center. So I want that to be centered, and I want you to be centered, and I want you to be 0 there and 0 there. That all looks good. So that's good for the needle. I just have to get it so if you come over here to the cover, and if I bend it, or if I twist it, if I bend it, you can see the bones moving, but the cover isn't. So what we have to do is apply the weight map to that. So that's where our weight map editing. Come over here to the tool. We're going to do a geometry selection by, I think, is it face groups? Yeah, face group off. Hey, Willie, how are you doing? And then we're just going to do a fill, weight editing, fill selection. And we're going to fill that by 100. There we go. I have successfully rigged the top of my compass. And my glass moved. My glass is grouped with the wrong thing. Oh no. I can actually fix that. We can reassign that and delete the obviously, I think I got my glass in the wrong spot here. We're rigging a compass. I made a compass earlier, and so that's what we're up to. This is part of the Safari Girl outfit. So we'll go to over here. I'm going to, where's my glass? Compass, clip, letters. There's little letters. They should cover, face, needle, screws. I lost the glass. I think that's the glass right there. So we're going to assign a material, and then I'm going to reassign it to the base. Then we're going to take the weight maps off of that for the what we just did. So the glass will be part of the base instead. So I'm going to create surface from selected, and you're going to be compass glass. And I'm going to accept that. And then also, I'm going to assign that to the base. And then we're going to remove the weight maps that are on there for that. So I'm still, so we'll pop back over here. And I'm just going to, let's just G select everything, just so I make sure. Clear selection. And then I'm just going to select the glass, so we can do that with the geometry selection. Select by surface. We can say glass. And we'll just do weight editing. Fill selection. We're going to fill to 0 though. And accept that. And that didn't work. What the hell? Also, I don't need these. I can just get rid of this. I don't know if I need scale weights or not. So what happened? Did I lose my selection? Select by compass base. And then the general weights. And weight editing. Fill selection 0. It's not filling. Do I have it? Let's check something. If I hide my glass, if I select everything and I remove, and then I select, let's try that. So I'm going to pop back over to here. We're going to use geometry selection. I'm just going to select everything. Select all. Wait a minute. It snapped back. Damn it. Daz was being weird. All right, my glass is back in place. I think. Only I have it. No, I have it hidden. That's why I don't see it. Stimpy, you fool. No, my glass is still where it was. All right, geometry selection. Select all. Weight editing. Fill selection. Oh, I know what it is. It's this stupid thing where I can't fill a selection if it's at 100%. It's the dumbest thing. So I'm going to use I'll just hide everything but the glass, and then I'll take the weight off of that. What I have to do is kind of select it, smooth it out so that it's less than 100. Then I can fill it and it'll move back. That is it's one of the most asinine things. So let's just pop over here real quick so I can just basically hide everything but the glass on the compass. There we go. And then what I can do is go into, I have to weight paint. I'll set it over. Actually, we'll do this. And then I hold it. Is it the Alt key? I can't change that. I think I have to just, you know what? I think I'm just going to have to remove the weight map and reapply it and just apply it to the top. I think that's going to have to be the solution. Thank you, Daz. You know what? So I'm just going to remove that. Now I'm good. But now I'm just going to come back and add. And then I have to fill it into the cover parts, which shouldn't include the glass at this point. And I need to bring everything back into visibility. Did I set up a button for that? I don't think I did. Show all. I didn't have a show all button. All right, we got to go back to the geometry tool. And I just have to click all of this stuff back into visibility. I guess I could right click and choose visibility show all. And then let's not select anything. Let's come over here and just select. Can I just not rename you? I keep thinking I can. And it keeps not wanting to, but there we go. I think I got it that time. So now I should be able to fill it. I'm going to fill it to 99 just in case. Weight editing, fill selection. We're going to say 95. All right, that's what I want. I'm going to fill it to 100 now. I have relative confidence that we're going to be good. There we go. I have successfully rigged the lid. So when we come over to parameters, we're going to set limits on that so that it doesn't do that. We're also going to hide everything else but this one dial here. We can do that actually right now. And I'm going to change bend to say open. So basically, I'm just going to grab all of this. And we're just going to say hide selected properties. Then I'm going to just come back here. And we can just tweak this over in here in the properties. Yo, Napsmore, how are you doing? A sign you will never. No, this isn't even his first one, is it? Is this? Is this? Does he actually have more than two? I can't remember. I distinctly remember a drunk driving crash a few years back from Tiger. If I drunk drove and crashed that many times, would I be in prison? At the very least, that man does not need to be driving ever again. Thanks for shouting out, Charles. I don't think I shouted. Did I shout out Charles? I don't know. We always can forget. We're rigging a compass, by the way, in case you've wondered. More at least three crashes. Yeah. Oh, and once he fell asleep, and the man has a problem. And after one, you might be able to say, okay, the man has a problem. He should get help. At this point, he should have gotten help and should not be drunk behind a wheel. He probably should just. Oh, I don't know if not even if he took his license away, would that even stop him? Oh, he blew OO? Dang. Not drunk this time. Oh, Ambien and painkillers. Oh, yeah. I can see that. He's probably under the influence of medication. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, what am I doing? I've got the top rigged. We're fixing the dials. That's right. I had a property up for Bend. So we're going to go in the properties for Bend into the parameters, and we're going to change you to say open. I'm going to do that, and we're going to use limits, and I'm going to unhide it, and we're going to accept that. And then let me see. This is going the wrong way. You would think so. He should. All right. So you can say minus 180 on that, and we're going to say 0 on the max. I'm going to reset that. Let's check our open. Unfortunately, my open dial goes backwards. Actually, if I flip this, is there a way that I can change the orientation so that that dial goes the other way? Let's try something here. Let's go back into the rigging tool. If I have this point the other way instead of this way, I don't think so. Let's check tool settings. ZYX. I'm trying to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I say ZXY, that doesn't really do anything. Okay, I'm done with the lid. We're going to make the little. We need to make the dial spin. Of course, now you say side to side. Damn it. I will switch it back to ZYX. There we go. Now we come back to here. So as a user, if you have stuff normally hidden, all you'll see is this open dial. That would count as, that could quantify, yeah. All right. I'm going to move this out of the way so we can see the needle a little bit better. There's a needle in here. I think right now, if we switch back to texture shaded, you can't see it. I'm just going to throw a generic glass on here just so we can see through that surface. At least that's the hope. Oh, for crying out loud, Daz. You gonna do this every time I touch an icon or a tool or something? I should probably save this so I have a backup. There we go. I can't see my dial. Oh, there it is. My dial is right there. I probably should move it up just a little bit. We might update the geometry. Anywho, let's give us some colors so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to have to do that for purposes of putting of texturing this anyhow. So let's break out our color selections. All right, this is all set. We'll bring the glass back to normal. All right, so we want to get the spinner spinning. I really should have put north on the upside. I wasn't thinking. At least they're on separate sides. So same thing. Let's pop over into the figure setup tool. Let's come over here. Let's go to the needle. We have to add the weight maps to that. Let's just double check our groupings just to make sure the needle is what I think it is. Yay, it is. So this should be easier than the issue I had where I accidentally had the glass assigned to the cover. Going to the weight paintbrush. General weights, you know what we don't need? I don't need that. I don't need you. I don't need you. Let's just make sure we don't have any clear geometry selection. Just to see, I accidentally had the cover selected, so that would have been weird. And then we'll just come in here, geometry selection, and we're going to select by face group and choose needle. And let's come over here. This should be, I think, twist. Yeah. So you can see we're twisting, but the needle's not moving, so we're going to assign the weight maps to that. There's a way to do this automatically, but I have to remember how to do that. There's a sickle yield tutorial out there somewhere that reminds me how to do it. Anyhow, but we don't need that because we're almost done anyhow. Weight editing. Fill selection. 100% accept. That didn't work. Did I have selected what I thought I had selected? Geometry selection. We'll clear our selection. Geometry selection. Select by face group, needle. Yeah. I'm in weight painting. Weight editing. Fill selection 100%. You're not filling. You totally just hate me, I know. Can I just paint that in? It's not even painting in. Let's take a look over here. Let me focus in on this. I have my letter selected. I have my needle selected. Let's just hide everything else and see what's going on. I thought I had that selected. a weight map figure with geometry and one or more. What was I? I'm in geometry. I'm in the wrong tool. Nope. What's blocking me? Oh, well, that's my problem. I didn't have general weight selected. Damn it. All better now. Oh no. One of my letters got left behind. All right, I'm good. We're actually going to start this in a rotated position because I want the north to point up. I guess it really doesn't make a big difference, but it looks better if north is pointing straight up. Anyhow, we're not going to set limits on that so it can just spin around forever. I think we're good. Let's get everything back into view. Geometry visibility. Show all. Geometry selection. Clear selection. I think we're good. We got to tweak the properties over here to look nicer. Twist is actually spin. So let's do kind of what we did before. We'll just grab all of these and hide them. And then we'll just come over here to twist and tweak that parameter setting. I think we're going to call you spin. And you're not going to be hidden. We're not going to use limits. My default's going to be 180. And Control Shift F. And then I think we're done rigging this and I can save it now. I think I need this. Let's just memorize the figure rigging. Let's just test the is the glass in the way? Glass should be in the way, so I shouldn't be able to actually click on that. So you actually have to come over to the compass figure. And maybe, you know what, let's add an E right here. We'll add a dial to actually spin the needle because it's so hard to select it. I mean, I guess you could always do it over here. But if you're in the base, so let's add an ERC, I think. Right in here, is this it? Create a new property, yay. Name, spin needle. And spin needle, and maybe with a small p. And I'm going to set the default value of that at 180. And we'll say create. Oh, I got to tweak the values. I'll set that later. Why is my min and my max? Do I have a way to turn limits off here? You know what? Let's do this, and then I'll tweak it. Where did my spin go? I thought I saw it pop in here. There it is, spin needle. I'm going to give that a... Do I want this in adjustments? No, this is just our parameter setup. All right, we can do this over here. Min and max. You know what? We're going to say not use limits. I'm going to set the default to 180. I'm going to accept that, and then we'll ERC freeze this to that. Is that how this works? ERC freeze. Probably good. No, that's not on. Oh, it's because it's memorized. It's not seeing it as turned on. So if I have spin needle set to 0, Yeah, all right, let's move you to 0. That should do the trick. Let's try this now. I lost spin already. There it is. Nope. Where did you go? What the bloody hell? Did it? Oh, you got stuck in the base? I don't want you in the base. I'm going to delete you and put you... I want you up here in the compass body. Let's try to delete that. Delete selected property. There we go. Let's come over here to compass. Turn that off. Can I add a new... Create new property group. Spin. Needle. Path. I can put this somewhere. I don't know. Let me put in an actor for now. Actor. And let me give this an obnoxious color that we could spot easily enough. And then I'm going to create that. Come over here to actor where I got my spin needle. It doesn't do anything right now. So let's do the ERC freeze on that. And I want that to associate with the compass needle. I'm going to accept that. And we're going to open this lid. And I'm going to set this up so that it doesn't have a limit and it's defaulted at north is up, which should be, what, 0? And I'll come over here, parameters, we'll take the limits off. And should be good. My default's good, except Control Shift F. Let's just double check and see how we're looking. Come over here to the base, spin needle. Whee! Okay, that works. Also, you can select the needle and spin it in there. So I think we're good. I think I'm ready to save this. It's got janky colors. We'll resave it later, but right now, compass is looking good. I'm going to tweak the surfaces just a little bit before I save it. I'm going to tweak the angle, this here, to make these a little sharper. Let's try 45. Now, there we go. That looks good. Do I want to subdivide this? It's probably okay. All right, we're going to save. I don't think I've saved this yet, have I? Nope. Savannah Compass. There we go. Product is Savannah. Content type, you're just a prop because I can't choose anything more exacting than that from here, I think. You're actually going to be a prop that's going to be associated to the waist, but you're not necessarily a waist prop. And I'm going to accept that. Should be good. We're going to export this out, play with it a little bit in Blender. Also, I'm going to do the hat. And I still have to do the canteen, but that's not, obviously not going to get to that today. So I don't, that's my import. That's my export right there. And I am in the rampage. We want to go to Savannah. Whip. Let's go into the substance folder, and this will be compass. we're going to overwrite this with what we do in Blender. So in Blender, I'm going to disassemble it so that it shades better. We're going to separate out the parts so that we don't get weird ambient occlusion. Right now, the entire inside would just be black from an AO map if we want to do any cool uh, material effects. And I think I'm just going to re-export out the hat. Is the hat still here? Because I want to give it colors. I think it's ready to go. Although, you know what? We're going to tweak the shader on that too. Same thing I just did with the angle. It looks a little janky in there. I think if we just tweak the angle, it smooths everything out. That's a little rough. What happens if I put a smoothing model, or if I put sub D on here? Edit geometry, convert to sub D. You know what? That looks nice. We're going to do that. I'm not going to save it like that because we can't texture that. Also, we're going to take this into Blender and pull parts of pull it apart so that we can texture it in Substance a little better too. Anyhow, let's come back over here to mass resolution, set you back to base. Actually, let's give it colors. It's just easier for me to do that over here. Because I can just double click and quickly plop colors onto things. Look at that. I even added a headband. And the strap has an underside. So we can put like a raw leather on there, and we could put like a finished leather on the top. And this will be cloth. So there's seams, and we'll do those in the cloth. There's also the vent holes. I'm just going to do those as textures. With maybe an opacity map. It might look weird. I'm going to try it with an opacity map. We'll see how that works out. Anyhow, let's export you into the substance folder. You're just going to be Savannah Pith Helmet. Not Poeth, Pith. There we go. And that should be good. All right, let's pop over and set these up. And meanwhile, back in the Blender, I should do this in a new one so I don't get confused. This is actually the Pith Helmet folder, so I'm going to save that. Let's do File, New, General. Get rid of you. Import. Pith Helmet. That didn't come in, did it? Let's try this again. It's got a size. What the hell? Let's try import again. Maybe I just accidentally hit the export again. I have been known to do that quite often. Oh, that's a material file. I don't want a material file. I want the OBJ file. Why do I not see the OB? Because it's over there. So, yo, I'm only a big child. How are you doing, buddy? There's my Pith Helmet. We're going to pop into edit mode and we're going to move parts around. Just because it's going to be easier. I'm going to leave the headband in place, but we're going to move the strap out of the way. And then I'm going to move the hardware out of the way too. So, let's put the strap down here. And let's grab all the hardware. I can probably select that by like so. And I'm just going to move the hardware out over here. I'm going to move that rivet over a little bit so it's not too close to that loop. I think this is good. Do I want to leave? I'm going to leave the headband in there though. All right, this is good. We're going to save this out for our substance painter. I'll just overwrite this thing that says pith helmet here, and then we'll do it again. This time, let's do that again. Material groups is unchecked. Cancel that. What am I doing? Oh, I accidentally imported. I want to export. And then I'm going to overwrite that. And then we're going to export again with no materials. And I'm going to say NM for no materials here. And then export that. We're making a compass and a pith helmet for a Safari Girl outfit. All right, let's get the compass in here. Here's the compass. I'm pulling parts, I'm pulling things apart so that we can more easily texture. And I'm going to flip you over like so, just because my brain is going to like that a little bit better. This is the glass. We're just going to get the glass out of the way. I'm also going to move the needle out of the way too. Needle and lead. And we'll put those over there. And this is what I'm going to texture and substance. And this is on a separate map, so I got to do a UDIM thing. Let me just double check my UV editing. There's the face of the compass. We're going to hunt down a graphic from Wikimedia to put on that, and then the rest will basically be brass and glass. Or then we'll make a. You know what? We're going to make matching. We're going to make a brass. We're going to make a gold. We'll make a silver. Copper would be cool. Just because. So in general, the hardware on the rest of the outfit is going to be, the belt buckle is going to be in brass, gold, steel, and silver. And now we're going to do copper because I think copper looks cool. And so we're going to do the same thing on here. And also we're going to set it up so the hardware on the hat will do that. Although I might not use the copper on that. Anyhow, that's looking good. Let's export it out. So I'm just going to overwrite compass. And then we're going to do that again with no materials this time. Oh, I just did that with no materials. I got to redo this with materials. Then without materials. And just so I know which one I'm working on. No materials. All right, we're ready to go texturing. Oh my god, all this crap. Oh, cancel close. Go away. This is the stuff you're supposed to do before stream. Bad, Chris. All right, what am I doing again? Substance painter. That's right. It's happy texture time. See, I told you I was going to get to the canteen. Maybe we can get to the canteen tomorrow if I don't get to it before then. I may not get to it before then because I might do all the Morse and the. I still have to submit the wrestling outfit, so we're doing that today. And then I'll probably work on the morphs and the clothes tomorrow. And then stream we can probably, if I don't get fired up and get to the canteen already. Part of me wants to start the canteen already. Anyhow, a file new. Actually, what I need to do is I need to collect file. I want the Savannah outfit because I want to collect the materials so I can use the same materials as starting points. So I can use the same leather. In here. Let's do this. And then I'm going to clean this up because we don't. Do I need? You know what? I'm just gonna group all of this into one thing. And then we're going to close it down. We're going to give it a name. OX Savannah Safari outfit, so I can find it later. And then we're just going to make a smart material out of that. Create smart material. That adds it over here. So I can now drag and drop this onto other projects. So that's all I need this for. So now we're going to do new. Select. We're looking for those geometries we just saved out. Let's do the compass first. And we need the one with no materials to open up. Otherwise, Substance Painter will punish me severely. And by punish me, it means every material zone gets its own separate texture set. It has been modified. We don't need to save these changes. All right, I got a hat and I got my. Damn it. Let's resave this. I gotta save only the selected shit. All right, back over to here. Select all of that. Hit the export. Click on the DAZ preset. No materials. Hit the export again. Do the materials. Save over the compass file. Right there. Okay, back over into here and we'll reload. I'll just do file new. I haven't done anything yet. I'm going to do date modified. There we go. That looks right. Okay, discard. That's better. There's my compass all torn apart. I'm going to probably just put a DAZ glass material in here. I'll put a placeholder in here for now, but we'll swap that out later on with something for DAZ. And then also we're going to use the face. It's got its own separate map over there. Anyhow, let's bake our mesh maps. Bacon. Time to do some bacon. I don't need to do the ID map. I don't use thickness maps in general. You know what? I really don't need that. So the file the smart materials, I don't really need that for this. All right, now I need to make that ID map so that we can assign different materials to different parts. And I need that, the one with the colors for that. This one right here. And a couple things. I want to use a higher resolution map for that. And we need to tighten up those cages really small for better fidelity. And then I bake that. I don't need to save this ID map. So we can just go straight into painting. Let's start with we'll start with the brass. Actually, let's go to Wikimedia and find my find a public domain compass rose. Wikimedia Commons. It's got all the media, pictures. I think it's got music, films, all that sort of stuff is in the Wikimedia Commons. We're going to say compass rose. because that's the face of a compass. Compass row. Let's try compass rows. There we go. This one here was looking pretty good. The detail's mighty fine on that. Probably get lost. But then again, on the other hand, that's the reason why I had that face set to its own map all by itself. Lets us get a lot of detail on it. I'm also just taking a quick look. We'll see if we can. That's an SVG file too. I don't think I actually want the SVG file. Do we have a PNG version of that? I have a 2K PNG version of that. We'll download that. That looks pretty good. Save image as. I'll just drop that right here into the. I'm going to just, I'm going to send that over to the WIP file. And what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use that. Also, we're going to, maybe use this like as also a depth map, as if these are engraved. Let's get a little bit of a gradient on it. Let's just double check key usage on this just to make sure. It's Creative Commons attribute. You know what? Let me see if we can find a pure public domain one. I thought I saw. There was a navigation one. Are you the same thing? Just different? Oh, maybe it was this. There's a one from like the FAA or something. That's kind of. That looks kind of cool. Maybe let's check that one. See, that's public domain because it was prepared by the federal government, and traditionally stuff by the federal government is not copyrighted. So let's save that. I might just use that one. Let's see what else. See, that's like a. That's kind of cool. Do I want that? I kind of like the feel of that. I'm thinking about it. Part of me likes this one a little bit more than what I've currently got. It just has a nice. I'm kind of going for like a retro feel. You know what? I think we'll do that. There's the SV there's the PNG version of it. We'll save that. And I'll use that one. That's public. Did it say public domain or not? I, the copyright holder of this work, released the work into the public domain. Okay, excellent. That's what we're looking for. All right. Now we can start texturing. We're gonna put there's stuff over here we can texture. Also, I can also just color. I think my dial is over here, so I can always just paint this in if I have to. But I think we've got colors associated. Anyhow, let's start with. We're going to look for. We'll start with brass. Brass polished. I'll just drop that on everything in the background. So we have a brass base on everything. Then I'm just going to find a glass, or what they call glass. I'm going to not use this, but we're just going to, and then just drop that onto the glass. And then this I kind of want to be darker. I mean, we're almost done. And then it's just a matter of changing the colors. These, do I want this to be like black and these will be kind of white? Something like that. I'm going to go with a, what do we have for paint? Did I spell paint right? I think I did. Ceramic paint. You know what? I'm going to put that on here and we'll make that. No, that's not. I don't like that. That's got some sort of pattern on it. I just want kind of a generic paint color. That does the trick, only we don't want. There, you did not come in. You are not red. What do you think you're red? No, we're not going to use that. Marble paint. It's too weird. Paint brushed. I don't know. Let's try that. Do I get a color option with this? I do. All right. Let's switch that to dark gray. We'll also use the same thing, but a different color on the letters. So either red or white. I think I'll just go with the white. That looks elegant. I think that's most of the what we're doing with this. Oh yeah, we're going to put the compass rose on here. Let's do file import resource. Import resource. And I'm probably going to put a white or a steel behind there that offset the, or maybe not. Add resources. We stuck those over in here. I want that one there. And I'm going to import that. Oops, let's call you, let's do this. I want this just with this project, so that's good. Oh, I have to save this still. And you are, I'm going to call you a texture and import. Let me save this before I forget. File, save as. Oh, Charles is saying something while I'm saving. Oh no. Compass. Probably going to dinner or something. Get up and fix some dinner. There you go. Hey, take care, Charles. It was good to see you, man. CS Bond has left the building, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what was I doing? I got my compass in here. We're going to put a fill on here. Use this as a mask, something like that. I don't know, let's add a filler. Let's do a, with a color. Let's put it on that. Come back over to here and set this up. We're going to have a height map. I'm going to use a filter for that. And a color. You know what? I want to tweak this. I'm just going to multiply this through so that it, yeah. So we're going to use this as the color. And we're going to just set that to multiply. So it kind of does that. I'm also going to use this as the height map. So that it gives it kind of an embossed. I think that might look good. How are you looking now? See, that looks kind of cool. That might be good enough. I could always add writing, but I think I'm going to go with this for now. And then what I think we'll do is we'll just set up other base materials underneath this. Probably just colors. I'm probably just going to use the brass finish and we'll just tweak the colors to the different. So I'm just going to do a color layer on top of here and then we can mix, and then it just becomes silver and gold and yada, yada, yada. And So if I do something like that, it's kind of a silver. And is it Control D? Hey, I remember Control D. So what were my colors again? Steel, silver. You know, I might put it. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just gonna. Steel is just gonna be a more grayed and darker version of this. Gold is just gonna be a much more yellow version. And copper's kind of a browny, kind of cool color. So we're gonna call you copper. And I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna ask the internet what copper looks like. And then we're just going to sample that. So I'm going to slide this over to screen 2 where you can't see it. Just take this little eyedropper and run all the way over to screen 2 and click on a copper color. There we go. And now we have a copper compass. Cool. We're going to leave these black and white. Maybe a little lighter. Maybe a little darker. I kind of liked it. Yeah, we're going to go with that for copper. Okay, I'm going to go over onto this screen you can't see and say gold color. And then I'm going to select one of those to be this. That's about right. I like that. And over here, we're going to say steel. That I'm just going to dial in like so. Although steel should technically probably have a different finish. We're going to save maps and just make it kind of like that. And what I can do is I can kind of... Do I want to kind of lighten up the dial a little bit? I'm thinking. I'm going to add a color selector. Just to do that. And then that kind of... I think I'm going to make you white. And I'm going to... We're not going to do 100% on that. We'll like back it off to... So it kind of lightens up whatever's underneath it. And I think that's going to be... Yeah, and then we need our dirt. So we're going to do the dirts. That is under... I made that for the Storm Raider outfit, so it's under Storm. Here in the Smart Materials, there's Storm Raider. That is not it. That's not my Dwight. Where did my dirt go? It'd be sad if I lost my dirt. Oh no. There it is. Did I mistype? Did I say Storn? That's probably what happened. I'll just put the dirt on there. Kind of like that. I don't know. Does that look kind of dirty? I'm not sure how that... Well, we'll see how this turns out. All right, let's save these. Let's turn you off. Control Shift E. I am going to save the opacity channel, so we'll do that. So I need my 6-channel UDIM because we're saving the face out separately. And export that. And we're doing 4K. Excellent. That's probably way too much, but that's fine. All right, let's run over to our folder here. This is copper, I think, right? Yep, this is the copper. Oh no, I still have stuff in my... I'm going to save that again because I got garbage in here left over from earlier. It's faster to do this than to try to figure out what's what. Did I not? I forgot to hit this little button right there. There we go. I'm going to put copper right there. And copper over here. And you know, my glass didn't save with an opacity to it. It's fine. I'm just going to use glass anyhow, so I didn't need to save the opacity. What a waste. Why did you not? What kind of freaking glass doesn't have opacity to it? Come on, man. And then let me put a fill in the back. It has opacity on it. All right, let's save this again because I need that opacity map. I think when I put the dirt on, all right, back over to here. I don't need you. And I don't need you. And the rest of this is probably good. So we'll cut all of that. And let's come over and I'm going to set up a separate folder for this. Do I have a... There's Savannah outfit. So I had an accessories. You know what? Let's just put them in their own folder here. Let's rename you compass. And then later on, Canteen will get its own folder. And we'll dump those right there. And let me do the brass because that's going to be the hero texture. And actually, I just need the color maps now. So we'll do base color on that. And I can't see nothing because I got a thing in the way. That's okay, nothing's happening, so we're good. We're going to say brass here. And brass here. Okay, and then back over to here. Oh yeah, let's do the dirt. I'll do the dirt with the copper. Does the dirt look the same on everything? Am I seeing anything else underneath the dirt? Not really. How weird. I'm going to save this out, but I'm probably going to tweak it later on. And it's just lining up odd. I might have to rebuild the dirt for this. Just for this compass. I think this shader is having issues with it. Anyhow, I'm just going to do a UDIM. Actually, did I call you guys brass? I did. I might as well move you to the compass folder. I'll put compass folder on too so I can just drag and drop across. Back into here, and we'll just do, I don't need the opacity map, so we'll just do a 5-channel UDIM. Export that. I don't know, what color do I think this is? I think this should be silver. That doesn't look worn. at all. That looks nothing like that. I'm having that issue where it's not. I don't know. Let's try this one more time. I'll worry. I might worry about the. If I when I start getting low on VRAM, Substance starts exporting poorly. It's like it skips layers and things. It's going, I'm tired. You don't need those layers. or just or when it's halfway through a map, it will just stop. It will say, you know what? I'm tired. I'm just gonna make the rest of this in white. Yeah, I'm not getting good maps out of that Warren right now, so we're not going to use that. I'll come back. I'll revisit that later. Anyhow, I got to start on this. We'll give this. Did I save this? I think I saved this. It says compass. All right, we'll work on the hat next. So I'm just going to save on that. We're going to put the materials on the compass for the brass, and we'll save that out. And I'm just going to do file new on this and get the hat started up. Select pith helmet for no materials. Accept that. Before I forget, I'm just save this right off the bat. Save as pith helmet. Okay, let's pop over into Daz really quick and put the materials on for the compass. All right, going to the shaders. I'm just going to apply the generic shader, everything to get it all nice and white. Of course, that means I have to tweak my angle again. Right here, I'll set you back to 35. And then we'll just do drag and drop. And actually, let's open up the top so I can kind of see what we're getting at here. I don't need the opacity in here right now. So here's the compass files. Let's switch this over to large thumbnails or large icons so we can kind of see. So I have a height map. I don't know if there's anything in there though. I'm going to put you into the bump channel. We have a metallic, so you can go into the metallicity channel. I have a color map. We're going to put you over here into the color channel, and then we're going to go back and do the compass face. Where's my roughness? There's my roughness. You go into glossy roughness. I have a normal map. You know what? I'll fix it later. You're just going to go there in the normal map for now. I'm going to tweak it so that this height map pops into the normal map better. I think I've already moved on. So I'll take care of that later when I figure out how to get the frickin' dirt to work right. Okay, there's Daz. There's my, so what do I got? I got my metallicity, I got my color, got my roughness, that and that. Cut out opacity. You know what? I'm going to select glass and I'm just going to put a generic glass on there for now. Okay, and then we're going to tweak the face. So we'll come over here to compass face and we'll drop in the compass face materials, which starts, compass face is 1002. And I want the brass version of that. I should probably back that up a little bit. Anyhow, that goes there. It's got its own metallicity map, so that goes there. It's got its own roughness map right there. It gets its own normal map, and it gets its own height map. Okay, let's see. There we are. I'm going to run a render on this and see how we're looking. Control R. My glass is being too reflective. Did I accidentally drop a mirror on there instead of glass? Let's try that again. I'm gonna, here, we'll use IRA over here so I can, yeah, that glass is just too reflective. Let's put a thin. Do I have a thin glass? Clear glass thin. That's still being too shiny, isn't it? Oh no, I'm in the ground. That's my problem. I think that's gonna work. Yeah, baby. Let's do a render of that. I'm gonna save it off to the side. That way, if somebody we rate says, got anything to share? I made a compass. Let's go ahead and let's turn that off. And let me just knock out a render here. Shouldn't take that long. If I put sub D on here, how's that going to work? You can see a little bit of the edges. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. We're kicking along at a nice pace over here. We're already at 90%. I could probably stop it there and call that good enough. I keep hoping this will move a little bit faster, though. Yeah, it's like I got the 90 and then it stopped. But we're still cooking down here. And I'm not really seeing any appreciable change. So you know what? I think we're good. I think I'm going to hit cancel. And I'm going to save this. And we're going to go into promos. And I haven't set up a promo for Savannah yet, so we'll do that. Savannah Compass Whip. There we go. All right, let's reset that. Let me just double check that when I click on this, my center point is right where I want it to be. So we're going to put that on a rigid follow node on the belt. And let's just resave that as a figure prop asset right about there. And then we'll get some little bit of work done on the hat. All right, let's pop back over here. File, save as. I think I saved you already, didn't I? I did. Only I put an O in Pith Helmet again. Oh well. Okay, we're going to find that smart material that I saved because it's got the fabric and the leathers and everything for this project. Although I'll probably just use brass on these to start with. And we want some seams. I want a seam that's going to go through here, here, here. We want to put some vent holes over here. I don't know, is there a seam on the brim? Let's go take a look. Let's go shopping for pith helmets again. This one here, I think this is the one I keep using as my reference. I'm seeing if there's a seam on the brim or not. That's what we're looking for. Oh, and this texture. I think I'm going to do that, but I think I'm going to set that up as just a... We're going to add that as a height map in Photoshop. And I'm looking at the brim, and I think we'll do a little bit of stitching right along this edge here. And you kind of have a seam here. You have, so there's 6 seams on this thing. I don't see any seams on the brim. So you got the 3 vent holes over here. This complex pattern, which I said probably easier for me to just set up. Then in here, it's a slightly different color. I think I'm just going to use the same color. Or do I want to maybe a light gray on the inside and just use that with all of them? Except maybe the black. Yeah, all right, we're good to go. I'm done looking at pictures of pith helmets. We're ready to actually do stuff. Let's bake our mesh. Let's bake our mesh maps. No thickness, and we'll do the ID separately. I think that's done. Uncheck all of this. Check the ID. Uncheck those. Increase the resolution. Go get the version with the color in it. Okie dokie. Make those really small for better fidelity in creating them in the ID map. All right, bake. I don't need to save this ID map either because I don't use it for anything else. All right, back into painting. We're going to go find that smart material we did. And I'm just going to drop that on here. This has got metals, leathers, although it doesn't have the natural. It's got a whole lot of other stuff in here I don't need, though. So I'm going to come through here and get rid of this stuff. Pretty sure that's all safe to get rid of. I have the leather belts. I can use that on the strap. And this is the dirt. See, that looks better there. I am going to use, this is a highlighter and shadower. Just adds a little extra depth to everything. So I'm going to leave that in here. Leather belts, socks, fabrics. I don't have the metals in here. So we'll just do the same thing we did with the other one. I'll just drag a brass in here. And we'll stick that on these. Dum, 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 dum. What are we looking for? So this is done. I don't need that. I just need that. And this is a fabric. I'm going to find a canvas maybe. So in here, I'm going to swap out the bump and the height maps for a canvas material. First things first, let's get that brass in here. Brass polished, and I'm just going to drop you onto this hardware if I can do that. The way this is set up, I've got bump and normal maps bleeding through, so we're going to fix that. Come over here to the height map and switch that to normal, and do the same thing with the normal map and switch that to normal. And that way the only height normal map we're getting is from the brass material. Okay, over here in fabric, I'm actually going to just dial these back to 0. And then I'm going to bring a canvas material, and we're just going to use the height and bump map from those. Right here, canvas beige. So, I'm just going to drop that on here. I'm going to just bring you way back, right about there in front of fabric. And like I said, I don't need the color. Actually, the color's kind of nice, though. I kind of like that. You know what? I'm going to kind of blend this in with the other. Of course, that tiling's too high. I do want this. I do want the roughness. I'm going to keep all of these. We're going to tweak the tiling. Ooh, that's nasty. I don't like those wrinkles. Can I turn the wrinkles off? Do I get a wrinkle option in here? Oh, dang it. Sometimes you have the options to get rid of the stuff like you adjust the things like the wrinkling or whatever, which I'm not seeing in here. So I'm not going to use that one. It looked nice until we zoomed in. Oops, I did the wrong thing. So, I don't know. Let's check this. So if I tile you up, or what are you? You're also a crease, but can I adjust the creases in you? I can. I can take the creases out on that. And that kind of leaves me with this. And I think I can... Is that base got the... Yeah, we're going to dial up the... Did that do anything? Probably not. Let's check. Am I getting a normal map out of that? I'm not really getting a normal map out of that, am I? We'll put a filter on here and we'll convert the height map. Although I should probably put, never mind. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to put the filter up here on the top level of this. And we're going to put a bumped, a height to normal map on there so we get this. The default's always so gross, though. That's much better. I think I want to, if I tile that up a bit, though. Oh no, I've got 2 minutes left. We're going to get a basic setup on here and then we're going to call it a day. So what's my tiling on here? If I say 4, you're not really doing anything, are you? If I say 4 on that, I don't know if I'm going to live with this. I don't really care for that look. If I can't tile that up any better. Let's come in here and tweak the base color. Set you to overlay. And then we're just going to kind of dial that back so it subtly blends in. That might be okay. I still have to add my seams and things. That'll be done later. All right, let's get some leather on the straps. And I'm also going to put, you know what, I'm just going to use the leather on that band. So where are our leathers? I was looking at it earlier. Leather belts, there we go. These are probably got color selectors on it. So uh, let's start with the brown. And am I painting also in here? I am. You know what? Let's lose that. Can I just delete, remove, mask, and then we'll put another color selector on there. And then I can just attach it to that. And then I'm just going to, and then I can copy this over to these other ones, which we'll do later. So that's kind of the leather on top. And then I'm going to add a natural suede under there, which I'll tweak the coloring for the different versions. So here we do is it suede? It's kind of the unfinished side of the leather. Natural suede leather. There we go. We're totally going to tweak that. I'm reordering this down to here. Stick this right underneath the brown. Are you inside? And then doop, 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 doop. Right there. Tweak the tiling on that. And you know what? That's a pretty good color for that. I think that's going to be the basic hero texture. Except I want to put the brown on that band too, so we'll do that. We'll come over here and I'll add it to the band. It's fancy. It even has a vent. This may be a little too much detail in here. I think that's going to be good for the base. All right, let's go ahead and save this. We'll quickly save this out, throw it on the hat, and render it too. See how that's looking. Then we'll call it a day. Find somebody to raid. Control Shift E, export. We're going to do our 5-channel because I don't need opacity maps yet. I'm going to use an opacity map when I put in the vents, I think. Anyhow, but for right now, for this quick check, you know what? I will do an opacity map because I'll just swap it out and then I can just it'll automatically update later. This is just 6 channels, no UDIMs. Export that. Opacity map should be white, but I'm going to use it because later on I'm going to use an opacity map. There's our export folder. There's our maps. Let's cut all of that. And actually, I'm going to call you, I don't know, I think that's khaki. Khaki. Do that. So we're going to do the same colors as we do with the outfit. They'll be like black and white and khaki and brown. And olive and pink. I think those are the colors I'm going with. All right, I did need a folder for this. No, I have a folder right there. But I'm going to call you Pith Helmet. I don't know why I called you Hat earlier. Because I wasn't so enamored with Pith Helmet as I am now. It's pithy. Helmet. Okay. And paste that there. You can go down to there. This is good. Let's pull that like so. I'm happy with this. Am I saving? Gonna hit save on that. I'm done with substance for today, or at least for now. And let's tweak our pith helmet and see how this is looking. And do a render of that, and then we'll raid. Brain has stopped. Surfaces. Surfaces. Do that. And I can just use the same maps on all of these. It's just the way I designed it. Alrighty, we start with the height map. Actually, let's put the generic shader on as our base. And I take my height map Goes in here. Take our color map, put you over there. Take our metallicity map, stick you over there. Hello, Mr. Normal. It's Abby. And an opacity map. It doesn't really need one now, but later on I'm planning on putting holes in the helmet, and I think I'm just going to slack and use the opacity map. I might change my mind and go back and actually model that stuff in, but for right now. And the roughness map goes into the glossy roughness channel. Ta-da! Control-R. Anyhow, let's find somebody to raid. Thanks everybody for being here. I'm probably gonna see, this kind of gives me a feel for the direction I'm heading in. I don't know about that texture. I'm gonna, well, when I get the other detailing in here. But I don't know. I'm probably just going to use a different canvas, I think, to give me the underlying bump and stuff. Anyhow, hey, if you're on YouTube, thanks a lot. Like and subscribe. That would be awesome. If you're on Twitch, stick around. We're going to go find somebody to raid. Let's take a look. Where's my Twitch? I see Twitch. You're all the way down there. Hello, Twitch. Who is on this fine Monday afternoon? Dum dum dum. It's done. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that texture yet. We'll get there. The strap looks good. So there is that. Click on that. I'm going to go down my follow list. We're running down to the bottom of my follow list and working my way back up. My worst case scenario is generally call sign Scarecrow, a marvelous musician friend. But we'll see if we can find any of the art friends on. Riv Critter is on. She's an art adjacent friend. Den Ruby. Is that who I think it is? No, that's a Blender. What are they doing? Oh my, I can't show that on. Yeah, we're not going over to Den Ruby. Den Ruby may not be long for Twitch. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that, I'm sure. Yeah, I think we'll visit Riv Critter. She's a marvelous artist, so I'm gonna leave you all with Riv Critter today. What is Riv up to? Happy Mouse Day. Rats want to draw and play. Art and game stream. Alrighty, let's do this. Hey, I appreciate everybody being here. I will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time in the evening, for more stuff. Something probably with this outfit is what we're working on currently. Maybe the canteen, maybe other parts of the texturing and stuff. We'll see. Anywho, hey, huge shout out to CS Bond. Super cool cat. I think Napsmore was in here. Good to see you, Napsmore. And if you could stick around for the raid, here are the raid calls. If you're not a sub, you can use that. If you are a sub, thank you so much. And you get to use the sub raid call. And let's do this. Oh, yeah. I may have a new product out in the next few days at Daz, so keep an eye out. I think the Crossroad outfit may finally be getting into the store. So check out my store at Daz. And also feel free to join the Discord. If you put stuff in the gallery, we have a Saturday Night Social every Saturday at 8 p.m. We have an art share, a Discord chat, and an old cartoon. So feel free to join and feel free to share your art in the gallery. Or you can just drop links into the Discord and say, hey, check out my Instagram or check out my ArtStation. Check out my OnlyFans. Although we may not check out your OnlyFans, but you can still call yourself out. Anywho, what are we doing? We're going to raid Riv Critter. Let's start this raid and get out of here. Raid. Let me, how do you spell that? Riv Critter. I think that was it. Has the raid been started successfully? I don't know. I've got 2 viewers ready to raid. I got 6 viewers. I'm copying my raid call now. Hey, I hope you all have a good rest of a Monday or Tuesday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. And hasta la vista, baby.